Welcome back to Generational Dr. Wealth, a personal finance show for doctors. This podcast is for educational entertainment purposes only and does not constitute financial, legal, or tax advice. Always consult your own professionals. 4 different treatment plans, so 4 different patients, because we know they have 4 different kind of underlying comorbidities. But when it comes to our financial life, we only have one sinking fund that we don't really know what exactly the purpose is. I'm just putting funds away for a rainy day. No. For our personal life, we need to add that same level of complexity because being a doctor means you are one of the highest echelons when it comes to trust from the public. They trust you to take care of them. So you should be able to trust yourself to take care of your financial life. And guess what? I'm going to tell you a little secret. You're capable. You're smart enough. You have everything you need necessary to be able to organize your financial life. And for most people, we just need a little bit of structure. And again, that's the point of the blueprint. So principle number 1, as we just talked about, every dollar needs a job. And you should know when the dollars flow into my account, what am I saving these dollars for? What am I investing these dollars for? Where are these funds going? According to the blueprint, if I'm on step number 1, I know, the first dollars that roll into my account, I'm going to be putting that towards my insurances to make sure that everything is properly secured. I've insured my foundation. If I'm in step number 5, I know every dollar that rolls in at that point, I'm making sure that I'm maxing out all my accounts to make sure I'm building wealth while whatever other plan is planning is actually working simultaneously. For instance, if you want to buy a practice, what I hear sometimes is, should I pause investing to be able to save for a future practice? I say no, because you never know how long it's going to take you to actually get into your practice or your practice to get to a point where it can actually take care of you. For most people, it's going to take at least a year and a half. And if you're in a more densely populated metropolitan, it might take 3 to 5 years. So pausing, saving into step number 5, invest for 5 years could be an absolute wreck to your finances in the long haul. And we want to make sure we avoid that. And that's why step number 6 is where it is. And that's why principle number 1 is make sure every dollar has a job. Did I buy too much car? Did I buy too much house? So the thing about a sinking fund is when you have those funds set aside, it stops you from overspending. It actually gives you the freedom to be able to enjoy what you're purchasing. Because we have our vacation sinking fund that's inside of our personal sinking fund, when it's time to go on vacation, we don't even think twice about it. We're not stressed at all because we know we have saved for this event and we should enjoy it. Because what's the point of actually working and earning income if you can't enjoy it when it's time to enjoy it? See, now if you go on a vacation prematurely and you have not saved the funds, now you're on a vacation, you're supposed to be relaxing, but you're thinking about the credit card bill that you're going to come home to. But by having this sinking fund in place, it gives you the clarity of mind to be able to enjoy the experience. If you know you are a big gift giver and during Christmas time, you give out loads and loads of gifts, that is a perfect way to think about, maybe I should add gift giving within my personal sinking fund. So I know when it comes Christmas time or birthday time, I have the funds necessary to be able to give to my nephews, my nieces, my brothers, my sisters, my spouse. This is a way to prepare for those future expenses today and be able to spend guilt-free. See, one of the issues I have previously when it came to finances was not spending enough. I was more of a saver, invest. But by creating these sinking funds, it actually gave me the freedom to now be able to spend guilt-free. By having the funds set aside into these different accounts and already knowing I've done step number 1 through 5, I'm investing properly, the excess funds are set there now for your enjoyment without you having to think about, are these going to the right place? See, the thing about guilt-free spending, the only way to truly do it is number 1, to ignore the fact that you shouldn't be spending altogether. Or number 2, which is the more optimal way, is organizing your spending so you can do it how you want to, when you want to. See, your money is here to serve you, not you serve your money.
If you've been listening to the show, you probably heard us talk about the Doctor's Blueprint, the 9-step framework that helps doctors go from 6-figure debt to financial freedom. But a lot of listeners have asked the same question. How do I apply this to my own situation? That's exactly why we created the Dr. Wealth Blueprint Plan. It's a personalized financial roadmap designed specifically for doctors. We walk through your entire financial picture, your debt, insurance coverage, saving strategies, investment plan, and long-term goals. And then turn it into a clear step-by-step plan based on the doctor's blueprint. If you're interested, just text the word blueprint to 704-336-9313, and we'll send you the details and application. Again, that's Blueprint to 704-336-9313 to learn more about the Dr. Wealth Blueprint Plan.
The only way for you to do that is for you to tell your dollars where they go. And that's why principle number 1 is every dollar needs to have a job. And principle number 2 is sinking funds reduce guilt, because you have assigned every single one of your dollars a job and you know exactly where they should be and what they should be doing. And that's why I love that for everyone out there, to make sure the sinking fund is used in a way to be able to give yourself freedom of mind instead of closing you to the creativity that already lies within you. Believe it or not, spending requires creativity. And the only way to truly tap into the highest levels of your creativity when it comes to spending, and that could be investments, that could be in gift giving, that could be in anything. The only way to tap into that highest level of creativity is to have clarity of mind. And that's why principle number 2 is sinking funds reduce financial guilt. Now, let's discuss principle number 3. And in my opinion, this is probably one of the most powerful principles for the reason for a sinking fund. And principle number 3 is stop financing predictable life expenses. I know we've all seen the Rooms to Go commercials that say interest free on this furniture until 2050, or the car commercials that say 36 months, no interest or reduced interest, when in reality, behind the scenes, they've inflated the MSRP. See, the thing about interest that we don't focus on sometimes is interest is what you pay for a lack of preparation. When you have your sinking funds in place, you avoid a lot of these interest payments that siphon and pull away at your wealth by having these funds properly in place. See, we don't want to get to step 6 of the blueprint. We don't want to walk our way back to step number 3, which is eliminate the wealth killers, anything above 8%. So if we don't have our car sinking fund in place and we want to buy a dream car, and let's say the interest rates are an absorbent amount and you're paying 8.5% interest, see, now you have went from step number 6 in the blueprint all the way back to step number 3. And that is the reason and the purpose of these sinking funds. It's to make sure you don't go backwards, that you don't backslide when it comes to your financial progress and your financial growth. Again, I want to repeat that one more time. Interest is the penalty we pay for a lack of financial preparation. So think that to yourself. What are you currently paying interest on? Do you have a lot on your high interest credit card? Do you have a lot on your car note? See, thing about it is some interests are okay. If you know you want to purchase a home and you want to have a 30-year mortgage, that's okay. And that's why mortgage rates tend to be lower than cars or credit cards, because it is an asset-backed loan. There's something that's backing up that loan, and that's usually a larger amount. Now, for things like credit cards, there's no asset backing that credit card debt, and that's why you're paying 20 to 25% interest because of that lack of preparation. So when you have that sinking fund in place and you're in my shoes, and what happened to us in one of our Airbnbs when our basement flooded out, and the first quote we got back was $40,000 to be able to handle the water issue as well as do the proper repairs on the basement of this duplex, you're going to have the funds in place to at least be able to handle the deductible on that property insurance. So do I need to have $40,000 saved up to handle that particular issue? No. But do I need to have the deductible for that property saved up in the event of something like that happening, and some extra on the side to get repairs started expeditiously instead of waiting for the insurance company to reimburse? Absolutely yes. And that's why it's important for you to always be able to be realistic about the risk that you're assuming when you're going about your life. When it comes to purchasing a car, that comes with a certain level of financial risk. For some individuals that we coach, we see that they buy a car and within 1 to 2 years, they are what we call underwater, meaning they owe more on the car than the car is actually worth. How do we avoid that risk? We avoid that risk by having our car fund in place. One thing we notice is that some people's mortgage payments are just too high and it's literally extracting their wealth. And that's why we always suggest never having a house payment that's above 25% of your take-home income. Because what will happen is if you don't have your sinking fund in place and you're not able to get a good interest rate on purchasing a house, on top of that, you're not putting down 20% or knowing what a doctor's loan is and getting a doctor loan. So you have to get what we call PMI, private mortgage insurance. Between those two right there, you might have a home that you can actually afford, But by paying extra interest on the home, as well as paying PMI, a home you once could afford might be priced out because we don't have the cash in place necessary to do what we need to do, or the necessary information to get a doctor's loan, which for physicians, dentists, and veterinarians often can provide you no money down to 3 or 0.5% down on a home. See, these are the kind of things we have to know when it comes to our sinking fund. We got to know when to use it and when to keep it. If we know that there's a product available for us to be able to help us preserve our capital, we need to use it strategically. See, those are two larger expenses, but let's go into some day-to-day expenses that a lot of us can relate with. The vacation, the last vacation you went on, think to yourself, how did you pay for that vacation? Was it on your credit card that you had the cash to pay off as soon as you used it with the credit cards to maximize your points? Round of applause for you. Now, if you use a credit card and you did not pay it off and you're still paying off that credit card today, that's not a good way to use it. See, that's the point of the sinking fund. You have the cash set aside so you can still do the things you want to do, but it helps prioritize what comes next. Where does your next paycheck flow to? Where does that next dollar go to? So if you take nothing else from this principle, think to yourself the next time before you take on interest, that interest is the price we pay for a lack of preparation. And most of the credit card bills that we are paying are usually stemmed from something that was completely avoidable and predictable. That leads us to principle number 4. I've already touched on it a little bit earlier, but I'm going to repeat it for those to make sure we really bring it home. For doctors out there, you want to make sure you have these 3 sinking funds at the very least. That is your personal sinking fund, that's your business sinking fund, and that's your investment sinking funds. Remember, your personal sinking funds are for expenses that are usually less than 2 years out and they are personal to you. Now remember, your business sinking fund is usually for expenses that are 2 years out or less and they pertain to your business. So you may not own a practice, but you are a practice. Your skill set that you bring on a day-to-day basis is needed where you go. Then that takes us to our last investment sinking fund. This is where you're able to now get ready for things that are coming in the future, but you have more time. These are the funds that are not going to be strictly sitting in cash or in a high yield savings account, but you're going to put this into a vehicle that can go a little bit faster. At the very least, you're going to be putting this to a high yield savings account or a CD. At the very best, you're going to be putting this into the actual market for it to bring you back a higher return, with the understanding that anything extra on top of what I put in is just gravy on top of the cake. I don't expect any extra, but if I get extra, perfect. And when those extra funds flow in, just like we talked about in 2025, the stock market rose nearly 18 to 20%. Those excess funds that you have can now continue to grow inside of that sinking funds for future expenses. That's why I like to call this one investment, but also my opportunity fund. See, this is where the kids 529 is going to sit. This is where your future home down payment is going to sit if it's over 2 years. See, the investment or the opportunity sinking fund tends to be the largest of the 3 when it comes to actual monetary value. And it's because the future long out expenses tend to be larger in nature. So you want to make sure you're not just keeping all those funds sitting in cash, but you're also making it work for you. And that's why I keep saying step number 6 and step number 5 are really close cousins, because you're going to learn how to use your sinking fund and invest it in a way that's responsible. So when you need it, it's actually available to you. That takes us to principle number 5. Freedom is not just saving, it's strategically planning. Money doesn't just solve problems, but it gives you the chance to say yes to opportunities. See, now by having that third sinking fund, which is your investment funds, it also gives you the kind of flexibility necessary to say yes. If you know in the future, maybe I want to buy a dental practice, or maybe I want to go on my own and create my own medical practice or my own veterinarian practice, by putting funds into your investment sinking fund, which is strategically invested for a long-term horizon. Let's say somebody approaches you tomorrow and say, hey, you know what? Because of these different scenarios, I need to sell my practice quickly and I need to move into retirement. I'm willing to sell it to you for half of what it's worth. If you need to go through all the different channels for a loan, or you need to go through all the underwriting necessary, you might lose out on an amazingly good deal and to be able to help somebody who's in a time of need. By having the funds inside of your investment funds already lined up and ready to go, you can now have the opportunity to step into a great chance to be able to grow your professional and your financial future. See, that's the thing. The funds that you have inside of these sinking funds are not just for saving and taking care of emergencies. It also puts you on the offense. It puts you into an offensive position. So when things come your way, you don't just have to wait for things to happen, but you can make things happen. If the dream car you've always wanted, they have a crazy sale on it. Like y'all remember when we had the tariffs and a lot of car companies were saying, you know what, due to tariffs, we're going to offer you special pricing that are employee only type pricing. That might be the opportunity for you to get the car of your dreams for 15 to 20% off of MSRP if you have the funds already saved up. See, the thing about it is when opportunities come your way, you can actually use your investment sinking fund as a way to be able to sort through the opportunities that are presented to you. See, now, if somebody approaches me and say, hey, you know what? I have a candy store that is up for sale and I'll sell it to you for 25% off because I need to sell it quickly. I can easily sort through, what is my investment sinking fund for? Does what this person's offering me match what this investment sinking fund is for? If the answer is yes, then I'll evaluate it and do my own financial underwriting and possibly purchase that candy shop. Now, if it does not align with what I have as my criteria for my investment sinking fund, I can easily and without effort say, you know what, it's not a great opportunity for me, but I'll keep an ear out for somebody else who it might be a great opportunity for them. See, what happens is as doctors, we get so much presented to us and we don't know what's a good investment or a bad investment. And believe it or not, the difference between a good investment or bad investment, yes, is the kind of return that it gives, but that's not the only criteria. What you mean to purchase or what you mean to invest in also defines what's a good investment or not a good investment. If you know you hate real estate, it doesn't matter how great the chance or the opportunity is, you should not be investing in real estate outside of your primary residence. So let's say you absolutely hate real estate and you don't want to own any type of investment real estate, then perfect. If somebody offers you a syndication deal to be able to purchase into, let's say, 20 or 40 different apartment complexes, you can easily say, you know what, that's not the kind of investment that fits my portfolio, but I'll keep an ear out in case somebody I know is interested in that. And instead, you can focus on making sure you own your primary residence or the building in which your practices operates under. And outside of that, you don't worry anything else about the real estate. See, that's the thing. This investment fund helps you keep focused on what you actually want to focus in and not being dragged into investments that you are not interested in or don't believe in altogether. That takes us to our sixth and final principle on sinking funds, and that's automate, automate, automate. Do not rely on your mind to remember to put money into these accounts. Put everything that you possibly can on automatic draft, automatic payments, so you don't even have to think about it.
Hello, I'm Jonathan with Team Financials, and here at Team Financials, we make filing simple, accurate, and stress-free. Tax season does not have to be stressful, and we are here to make it as simple and stress-free as possible for you. Whether you need help with your personal tax return or your business owner looking for expert tax preparation, our experienced team is here to guide you every step of the way. We don't just file your taxes. Our slogan here at Team Financials is we educate so you can elevate, because when you understand your finances, you make stronger, smarter moves for your future. If you mention Dr. Wealth when filing with us, you will receive $75 off your personal and business tax preparations. Ready to get started? Please reach out to us at 704-412-4242 or book directly on our website at teamfinancials.com. Take care. Have a good rest of the day. Bye.
Life is busy enough. Don't add the fact that you need to put $250 into your personal sinking fund a month to all the things you need to think about on a day-to-day basis. Instead, have it automatically drafting from your accounts, so when the money hits your account from a paycheck, it's already being pulled out and is being put into that rainy day fund. Because one of the best feelings is when you stop looking at your bank accounts and you wake up one day, you look at how much is inside of my investment sinking funds, and you see an extraordinary amount that you never expected. See, that's the beauty of putting things on an automatic schedule. You need to be looking at your personal credit cards and your personal bank accounts on a day-to-day basis to make sure that the expenses and the charges that are hitting it are actually non-fraudulent and you actually charge these expenses. But when it comes to these sinking funds, usually money is not coming out, only money's flowing in. So by you not even having to worry to look at that account, they have the opportunity to grow, and it's one less thing for you to think about. This rule of automation is for any expense that you have continually throughout your life. This is for your mortgage payment. This is for your sinking funds. This is for your invest accounts. The sooner you learn how to put your accounts on an automatic draft, it honestly frees you up to do what you should be doing in life. See, money takes up and consumes too much of our life sometimes, when in reality, we need to put it in its place. Like I said, money is a bad master, but it is a good servant. So by you telling money what to do on an automatic schedule every single month, I expect you to do this. This is your job. Now you're putting yourself into the driver's seat. No longer do you have to wait for money to flow in, but you are actively already telling your dollars where to go before they actually even hit your account. And then whenever that fateful day does come that you have an expense that you did not expect, let's say your MacBook goes out, let's say a storm comes through and you need to get your roof repaired and you have a deductible. Now that's when you're going to feel the weight lifted off your shoulders and put onto your sinking fund, because you've been preparing for this far in advance. The beauty of this step number 6 is you have the freedom to be able to do your invest in step number 5, but you also are putting the funds into your sinking fund in step number 6. And this is the final step of your financial framework. Step number 4 through step number 6 is building your financial framework. This is where the heavy lifting for not just building your wealth, but structuring your wealth is done. As we move into the last 3 steps of the doctor's blueprint, that's where you do your financial finishes and fixtures. See, that's the stuff that is done in the background once you have all of your dollars accounted for. You're investing properly, you have your sinking funds in place. Now you have the freedom to give. Now you have the freedom to take care of your low interest credit card debt. Now you have the freedom to invest in impact. I'm so excited for the next stages that we're going to have in the doctor's blueprint. But for now, remember, when it comes to your sinking funds, the interest that we pay is the penalty for the lack of financial preparation in which we had in the past. Do not let that be you. Let's create these sinking funds and let's create generational doctor wealth. My name is Dr. Jermaine Ifedi. We look forward to seeing you soon. If you would like your questions answered on the next Q&A episode, feel free to send us an email at the information below or send us a DM at Dr. Wealth Show. We look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.
This show is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not intended to be financial, legal, or medical advice. We are not acting as your personal financial advisors. The strategies discussed are general in nature and may not be appropriate for your individual situations. You should always consult your own qualified financial, tax, and legal professionals before making decisions about your money. The host and guests are not responsible for any actions you take based on the information shared on this show.